This chapter of Taizai, it's not holding back those death flags. I think we all saw those death flags in this. Like, it was pretty damn obvious. I mean, page 9 alone, I think, summarized the death flag. And then when Hawk appeared and talked about his new form and how he might have been in the sky at one point in his life and he was talking about his past, that's at the end of the chapter. And then page 9, where you see the bird explode, that's to represent Wandle, like the previous mascot of Taizai before Hawk appeared and, as our current mascot. To see that, I think it's implying, I think Nakaba-sensei is implying that Hawk is going to die to Estarossa. I think that's what Nakaba is kind of implying with this chapter, or Estarossa knows Wandle from some way, like he knows that creature. That's probably one or the other, but for now, besides that, let's start at the beginning of this chapter. So we come to find out that the 10 commandments can be affected by their own commandments. For instance, if Galen was to say a lie, like if he was to lie in the presence of someone, or if he was to lie to himself out in the open, he would be turned into solid stone. He would just become stone. And so we come to find out that the commandments can also be affected by their own abilities, which is a huge backlash, and it actually puts all characters that fight the 10 commandments on a level playing field. But the scary thing is, if you don't know about their commandments or what each individual one has on top of them, you're going to get fucked. Because, I mean, if you didn't know, if you lied in the presence of Galen and you lied in front of him, you would get turned into stone. But if you did know that, you'd be on level ground and you would be fine. So, kind of finding this out, it makes it very interesting. Maybe the Sins' way of beating the 10 commandments are not necessarily going to be about kind of beating them with brute force. Maybe it's going to be about outsmarting them and making them commit, an act of going against their commandments. That would be something that would be very interesting if it does go down that route, with certain characters having to beat them. Now, besides that little bit of reveal, we come to find out that each individual one of the 10 commandments are going to be splitting up into groups. For instance, 2 pairs, like, 2 people in each pair, and they're going to be going out different locations to exterminate and declare war, along with, growing their magic power back up, since we do know that they're kind of, at the weakened levels to where they're not even nothing at the moment. So, now that they're moving out and doing the things they need to do to get stronger, this was all a plan by Meliodas. Meliodas actually set this all up for he could spread them out, and then each of these 7 deadly sins can go take them out one by one. For instance, it would be kind of incredibly hard to fight all 10 commandments at once if you think about it. I mean, these guys are freaking strong, and Galen is implied to be one of the weakest out of the entire bunch, and we saw what he did, even though he was low in power level to, the other sins. So you have to think about this. Even though Meliodas can fight Galen and he wrecked him in like 5 fucking seconds in the last chapter, he still probably can't put up a good fight against all commandments at once. I mean, if you think about it, there's no way he probably could. Probably even 2 or 3 probably couldn't. So that goes to show you why he kind of provoked them to where they would split up and then try to get, more power, and then the 7 deadly sins in the different groups can go after the commandments and take them down. So this kind of makes it a lot easier for them to defeat them, which, in a sense, they might already know this, but that is Meliodas' plan to begin with. So, very smart and ingenious. At first, I thought Meliodas was kind of getting a little bit cocky when he provoked them and caused them to go out and start killing people because, there's going to be unnecessary deaths. But now seeing Meliodas' plan on top of that, now it kind of makes a lot more sense when you see the ending part of this chapter. Now, moving past that point of the chapter, a couple things I want to talk about is definitely some of the things that were happening when you got to see the power-ups of the characters, of how they gotten stronger, certain things like that. Like, you get to see, like, stuff going on with Arthur, you get to see some stuff going on with Grimoire, and that's the person I want to talk about, actually. Grimoire. To see him in this chapter, I feel so bad for him, because if you think about it, the 3 misfits, this is something that was brought up very recently, and if you think about it, all the other misfits besides Grimoire are pretty damn strong. I mean, we got to witness that a couple chapters back, and Grimoire has kind of been pushed to the side, and in this chapter, we get to see where Freder is holding Grimoire as if he's a little baby in his hand, and it's fucking hilarious. It's really hilarious, because as soon as I see Grimoire in that position, I'm like, he's definitely the third wheel of the three misfits. Like, I mean, he's the outcast of their group. Because, I mean, after witnessing what we saw a couple chapters back with the other two, and seeing Grimoire in this chapter, him being as a fucking baby, I'm like, bro, poor Grimoire. I mean, he's the third wheel. That's the best way to describe it. He is. And then also, on top of that, I mean, you get to see some more stuff going on with Hawk to where it seems like he got some form of power-up, which makes me question a lot of things, because Hawk took on a new appearance in this chapter. He had horns, like some form of dragon horns, along with like these wings that look kind of like a dragon, and I was thinking like, we do know that it's implied that Hawk is the reincarnation of Wandle, you know, the little bird that was with Meliodas in the past that got killed. And it's implied that Hawk is some form of reincarnation of him. Now, seeing how Hawk's appearance changed like it did, like how his outer appearance just changed like that, I wonder what's really taking place. Can Hawk have the ability to maybe change the way he looks, or maybe evolve, so to say? Not exactly like a Pokemon, I'm not going that far, but I mean, what if he has the ability to kind of evolve as time goes on? Like, maybe he can learn new abilities, like, I mean, he gets different animal traits, like dragon traits to pig traits, different things like that, as time progresses on, and maybe if he gets killed, he reverts back and loses some of his, you know, abilities, and it's kind of like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And so, I wonder if Hawk, being like he is right now, is just showcasing that he's slowly progressing with his power, and that his abilities are starting to come out that he's had since the very beginning. But whatever it is, clearly there's something going on with Hawk that is kind of being pushed to the side, and we really need to know more about, because Hawk has been a mystery since the beginning of the series. I mean, he's a talking pig, his mother can't even fucking talk, and I mean, on top of that, he got killed, but then resurrected once again, and I mean, it was implied many times something was different about Hawk throughout the series, and then seeing this now with him, just, it raises so many questions about Hawk's character and what he really is. But that's for another time until Nakaba-sensei decides to reveal that. I mean, look at this. Gowther was a huge question for about 60 damn chapters. I mean, think about it. I mean, we didn't know much about Gowther at all until like 60 chapters later after his introduction. So, it goes to show you. So, besides that, though, chapter overall, it was a very good chapter that showcases shit is about to go down. A very good setup chapter. That ninth page, though, oh my god, man. That fucking bird exploding was nasty. That was really nasty. So tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.